of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed in attaining all in that which is your need? To be heard by the real answerer of all deeds, the true hero of all whom pleads. Who of you really want to bow down to the true King of Kings commanding the crown? To worship the one that ever rules alone, commanding everything of creation from the seat of its throne.
Earth. They are the great destroyers of the ozone layer.
Right.
They are the great destroyers of mankind.
Those same people know our history better than, like you said, we know
They
ourselves.
know, that's right.
And I laugh because when you mention our black politicians, not to keep harping them, but truth got to be told, those many times, they'll sit in Caucasian hotels still politicking about how we're going to be better liberated when they're still being smashed down and smashed out by the Caucasian. They got to keep turning to them, going to their houses, whether it's the hotels or the places where they go to have these conferences. Because again, now
you think about this. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
As much time we had got blessed to go down to the Congressional Black Caucus every year, Untitled performing there, they still got a week time there in the particular, that convention center, which is still owned by Caucasians.
Yeah.
Get in, go out, just like whether the March on Washington, the Million Man March, all these different movement marches they had, you still going to the man house.
And also,
when we gonna wake up about from that?
And also, you still have,
yeah.
also you still had a permission.
That's what, yeah.
You couldn't perform a Million Man March anytime you wanted. You had to get a date. You had to get the streets. You got to get the place. You got to get the permission. You got to get the time slot. You got to get everything. Under who? The one you go on the bag for freedom, justice, and equality from. You understand? Elijah would never be caught alive or dead at the White House steps begging for them, because Elijah was given something from the Lord that tells him that you know it's a greater calling for our people than that.
Right.
See, in this Black History Month, the people need to sit back and think for a minute about where they're going, where they've been, and where they're at, and they need to think about what I'm offering them in terms of the Lord's covenant. Because see, you could disown the covenant all you want, you know, but the fact of the matter is it's here. The government could ignore me, but the Lord keep making ways for me to be heard. The people could keep saying that man's insane, but you see me here on this TV station, you see me here on this set, you don't see insanity here.
No, do you?
You understand?
Insanity?
Nor do you hear insanity. And they know that. They've been tracking me for a long time.
I was going to answer, Lord, you, the point that you contacted Minister Farrakhan that first time, that was, would you say, a confirmation as to where you were? They knew who you were all along. They had been looking for you.
Oh yeah, they have been looking.
They
Well, you know, we can go back from what the Lord said back in the 50s and the 60s when all them people, them babies on the East Coast, when inoculated and slew of them died, and because they was looking for the Black Messiah. You know, back in the day, they used to always talk about who's the Black Messiah. They looking for the Black Messiah. I'm the Black Messiah. I'm that one. They couldn't find me because it wasn't meant for them to find me. If they could have found me, then the Lord's prophecy was not true.
But the Lord's prophecy is true because you were like Moses under the Pharaoh's nose,
born
in the house.
And
they said, wait a minute, we done raised them,
And
trained them, taught them, fed them, nurtured you.
There you go.
But not caught in the slave mentality of the thinking about to look to them as your leader. And Ahezaah is lifting you up, raising you up with the agreement. Now, our people are the greatest fighters of that agreement, that covenant.
Oh, yeah, Our people,
of that covenant.
Our people was the greatest fighters of the covenant.
And then so happened that they had They had one of the brothers did a book called The Covenant. Now, that I found, when I heard that, I said, wait a minute, that's ironic. And Tavis Smiley, he did a book, had a conference called The Covenant to try to draw black people, but it's still, it ain't on the premise of the Lord. All the tenets they had was still dealing with economic, political, financial, the lesser things.
Look at Elijah Muhammad's son. He called the people away from seeking a separate state to rise as an independent people, to saluting the flag, honoring the flag, burning all religious symbols, and going into the Pentagon and making prayer and telling the people to join the military, telling sisters take off their clothes, they don't have to wear those garments, they're not in Mecca, you know, they can wear business suits and things like this, and polygamy, which Allah allows in all the covenants since from the beginning of time. The way he spoke about it being bigamous And bigamy, he said in such a negative and dirty tone, it's like cursing the Lord, say you wrong, because that's bigamy. How could he, you know, being a man of the Lord Most High, how could you stand against the clear covenant of the Lord? And we know that in the Holy Bible, it never say this person's wife or that person's wife. It always say those person's wives.
Right.
You understand? So that thing there in itself has always been with the covenant of the Lord, you know. But you know, to make a long story short, these people are not believers in letting the Lord guide them. So many people believe that they are in error. They say, well, you know, I do the Lord's will. I'll leave it to Allah. I'll put myself in the hands of Allah. And then they keep trying to drive the car, so to speak. You understand? Try to drive their life. When they only put in the hands of Allah by their mouth, not by their heart, not by their mind, not by their intentions. You understand? But it sound good. It sound right. You know? And then they start thinking that they are Allah. You know, they are God. You know? And then this compromising thing, you know, that people in Black History Month need to recognize, need to go back and think about how we took care of the land. You know, how our forefathers took care of the land, how we believed in taking care of the land, how we were farmers. You understand? How we were so much like the Native Americans who took care of the land. You know, and now we don't think about taking care of the lands. We all about the electronic age, you know? And if there be anarchy out here tomorrow, can you imagine in a week's time how many of our people would die because the man didn't bring the trucks into the path marks, the shop rights, the food towns, and what have you? How many of us know how to survive and put a seed in the ground and raise something to eat? You know, cannibalism be the first order of the day.
They better know how many of those camps are out there in the woods right now learning how to survive.
Oh, well, that's Caucasian. That's Caucasian. They take our right to bear arms away. Then they put in our mind craziness. They teach us how to kill one another. You know, so that reinforced why we shouldn't bear arms. Right. And then they take theirs and they give them license to kill animals. But see, on the slide term, they're hunting. So they can have all these rifles, all these guns, and you're not hunting. You can't even go to a hunting ground. So you can't have a gun, you know? I remember when I was in the State Police Academy, man, they had them young guys up there, and I was struggling at first to get my scores together. But you know, because of me running before, when I was a youngster, I knew how to shoot guns a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And so it wasn't that difficult for me to get it together, but I was so amazed. I didn't have the technique down.
That's right.
And them guys, man, they was nothing but a bunch of 300 shooters. They would put holes like this here in the targets, man. And I mean routinely, all across the board. You talking about 74, 75 Caucasians and then me. You know what I'm saying? I was the only dark-skinned brother in the class. You know? And but the thing about it is I looked at their expertise in handling firearms. And
raised from small though.
And I'm like, wow, they coming right off the streets, right, and they all handling these firearms. I'm talking about small firearms, as well as the rifles. You know, I said, where they learn that from? And I thought about different things, you know, and what Allah had advised me about. And yeah, they're training. A lot of times they're training them to kill humans. The ones that they hate. You know, and our people don't even know. They think they something because they put on TV, you hold a gun to the side. Ain't no way to shoot no gun. But they make everything cool for the black man. Pow, right? You go out there, pow with some Caucasian, they gon' pow and you gonna have a bullet in your head. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes the message is that, even the subtitles, because you're my brother, even the subtitles message that, even in they show you in the theaters again, the movies.
They
the Caucasians always aim with the brothers, like you said. They
not Steven Seagal, and he's an Indian.
But he's right.
Well, that's why the NRA is such a strong lobby.
That's why a lobby is in this country. Keep our rifles. Because they know the image is coming.
They know
anarchy
prophecy.
Is coming. They know prophecy that the time is anarchy will be here, and for us to survive here, part of our training is.
Our people are so silly. They don't realize that you are a piece of plastic and a little metal wire, fiber, away from the dark age. Because everything is ran off computers today, and you shoot out the computer grids, we finished. We in the dark ages.
Oh yeah.
The only thing that separates us from the dark ages is our ability to have electricity generated and gas move around and lights, you know, to generate lights and to cook things and to, you know, and to secure ourselves, man. That's the only thing. But you put them lights out, you put that power out.
How many people know how to make a fire out of 2 sticks? Or whatever it is.
You know,
something like that.
We will be out here in trouble, man.
Quiet is kept, though. But quiet is kept. A lot of people don't know. They're knocking out power in certain parts of this country on purpose, just to see what the effect will be in different
another thing is how
cities.
Yeah, and another thing is the way they building the highways around the major areas, urban areas where most of the black people are. You know, they got them because see the Afro Americans that's out in the woods and stuff. You know, a lot of them they may be disgruntled about the way they being treated, second-class citizens, third-class citizens. You know, 3/5 of a man or whatever. You know, but it's the Northerners that have been Northern blacks that have been going more so. You know, becoming violent because they were educated to some degree. They did have privilege to see certain things that's in the history of our people. And then having firsthand experience of working up close with Caucasians and seeing the racism that still exists today that they try to act like don't exist. You know, and so they were the more angry people. So, you know, you had riots back in '67 in these cities, Detroit, Newark, and Los Angeles, and East St. Louis, and different places, some places you may not even know about. But if you look at the maps, they practice putting circles around the cities where they can land tankers and everything else up in here and do, you know. But I don't blame them. You know, because you're supposed to protect yourself, you know, self-preservation. I don't blame them for that, but what I do blame them for is misleading our people even in this day and time in 2007 where they're giving us trinkets instead of the real thing. You know, you think about it, you got the people in the media fighting. And I'm not going to disagree with all of this, but the thing about it is when you take what they doing and put that against the covenant, what they doing don't stand next to it. The Lord is offering us something. It says that we're the chosen people. It promised that it was have a chosen people, and we're the chosen people. And our people don't want to accept that we're the chosen people. And the ones that they have taken and put in certain positions where they give them money and homes and all this kind of stuff and let them walk through certain doors, they don't want to hear nothing about what people like myself is saying, because the fact of the matter is we talking about them losing friendship with the devil. We're talking about them losing power. You know? Yeah, man, that means a lot to them. And in their minds, look, I'll be dead pretty soon, so it ain't gonna matter. But it is gonna matter when they pass forth, but they may not realize that. You understand what I'm saying?
I didn't realize, too, the people who come now, that they fought so hard to integrate. To be next to the Caucasians, and now you talking about not so much separating from Caucasians, but separating from the false or the
separating
untrue,
from evil,
and be of the Lord, And that's the process our people can't separate, because now you're saying separate from that good man, the good white man. Hey, what? That's not a false.
Separate from his.
Separate
from his trinkets, separating from his money, separating from that good life. You know, I'm living a good life.
Well, separating from the falsehood of, because see, one thing is the fact of the matter is that the Lord is not just calling dark-skinned people and Native Americans. It's calling all the people. You know, it's calling all the people. And see, my Lord told me to stay here in Newark and in this vicinity, Newark, Orange, East Orange, what have you, in this region, and work from this region. And don't be so much concerned about what's going on out there. Just work from this region. And it is commanded that I call my people, but I've called all the people. You understand? And it said, even in the covenant, it said that this is for all the people. But I'm supposed to be trying to gather my people so that they could take it and be at first hand to protect it and hold it and what have you. They ready to give it away already. But they don't realize that when the Lord turned this on to the Caucasian people, a lot of them going to run and jump at it and try to take it like they do everything else, because the government is the first to take it. That's why, just like in Matrix, you know, they made the Lord of the throne of those machines exactly like what the Lord had put in the Library of Congress.
I'm like, wait a minute,
you know, and our people don't know that they control the media. They control Paramount and NBC and all those, you know, theaters and television production companies. They don't realize that they are in direct control. You know, just like this station here, they have something to do with this.
If our people was just a little bit better read, just a little bit better read, they might be able to see so many things. We talked about Hellboy, and you talked about, but in all the motion pictures, you begin, and in the television productions, you see these indications that these people are aware of the truth. They're aware of your reality, of the past truth and stuff like that.
See, too many of their people know about this day and time and the prophecy of this day and time for them to completely ignore it.
Right.
You understand? So what they do, they talk about the chosen one, but they always try to make him a Caucasian guy. Just like in the Matrix, they made the chosen one a Caucasian guy and made the one he learned from a black guy. You understand? And it's so much that you're gonna be the slave no matter what.
He's still second
and he's still saving the Caucasian boy.
Right.
He saved the chosen one. You understand what I'm saying? But the thing about it is that they realize that this must be, and so they have to. There is a twofold thing where they're trying to confound the world and confuse the world about what they're doing with us, so that they can be the police, take charge in the world, and also how they can keep our people down is by giving us bit positions, small positions, which appear as power. You know, now the most powerful black woman in the world today is, and the African American is who? Condoleezza Rice.
Condoleezza Rice. I'm thinking,
But she can't spit if Bush ain't in that spit.
That's right.
If that piece of Bush ain't in that spit, she can't spit it.
Right. No matter what she's thinking.
No matter what she think. She can't spit it. And if she spit wrong and come back to Bush, she gonna be spanked.
Right.
You know, we know that. So how powerful is she? You understand? I can have the greatest sword in the world, and people can praise that sword, man, honor that sword, but that sword is no greater than me.
Right.
Huh? And without me, that sword is nothing.
Again, our people at the position now. She rose to the top as the advisor to the
They
president.
think that we rising on up.
And that's the lead. And in the eyes of the other people in the world, though, to them, she's done but American.
Right, and she's not even, here we go again with the mixture of the race. She's not straight up African American.
Right.
You know, you see her mother, look like she Eskimo or Indian or South American, you know, from the islands or something. You know, it's like Colin Powell. Is he straight up African American?
Nah,
He from
West Indian descent.
You understand? So it's like they know who they putting in office, but here again, our people, the trash heap, you know, we take everybody, and we really think we're moving on up. You know, and I often say, if you take, you know, all the people that they put in positions to influence us, and then you take who they influence, that great number of their influences, they keeping us under control. They used to do it with the ministers, the preachers and what have you, but we didn't get too big for the ministers and the preachers, and the ministers and the preachers have been found wanting too much. They've been found wrong too much. Even the Catholic priests, you know, the ministers of religion, they've all been caught. So they had to go on another way to pacify and control our people. What's the next best thing? Music and games. Because we're great children. We're great kids. We're not mature. We're not mature. That's why the brothers who play basketball, some of them be like, man, I can't understand. It's just a game that I love to play, man, and they worshiping me. And, you know, shoot a hoop is shooting a hoop. You get some brothers in the playground can shoot some hoop and look good. You understand? But the Caucasian take them, the Gen take them and put them on television, and then throw the commercials up there, then throw all the illusions up there, and all the great music and the intros and what have you, and then people start looking at them like they're greater than life. But they still human beings who get colds, who get sores, who get sick, who die, go to the Lord, have to be judged, go to heaven or hell. Or I should say paradise or hell.
I was going to say our people are enamored with not just the athletes, the movie stars.
Well, they all in the
types
same.
of
They all in the same.
personalities.
See, theater is a game too. Theater is a game. Theater is the most serious game. Theater, see, athletics is the game of the body. Theater is the game of the mind.
Right.
You see, they playing the game of taking our minds. And the ones that they can control the most, who act the best and they can control, they become the greatest stars. Now, I'll give you an example. Denzel Washington, we know that he's the best black actor for a long time now.
Right.
I mean, and he's a brother, African American, straight up. He ain't Sidney Poitier or the other brother that you know, Harry Belafonte. He's African American, but this brother could seriously act. He can take a show by himself, right? And then he start talking about humanitarian things, man.
Right.
Really helping his people. And talk about how the boys club helped him, so he want to go into the inner city and really help his people. He don't want to be like the athletes who in the game they want to give. They allow the Caucasians to blow them up doing charity for these organizations in the suburbs with all these little crippled children, or you know, it's always the Caucasians. Very rarely you see them with the brothers, the little black children, because they got to try to balance the thing up. But the main message is they helping the Caucasians. They helping us. They good people. If you want to be a good person, you got to help the Caucasian. You got to take care of the Caucasian. You got to let them lead, and you got to let them be with you in peace. You understand? We're the very same people who don't want to be with us in peace. You understand? And so they would, in order for him to get the recognition from them to be up in the sky, he had to do that terrible movie to degrade himself from his honorable work to make himself look like a criminal mind. Then they gave him an Oscar or whatever it was.
They praised that as his best work. I'm like, no, that's not his best work. Wasn't his best work.
You know,
but he had to be the bad. You don't say to be the bad guy.
And see, that works on the psyche of the black people. Now they will take that and maybe throw that in Black History Month, and then look.
They've done it though.
And we talked about it in our previous show, which is going to show after this show about how they want to take Martin Luther King and deify him.
Yeah.
And it was surprising even to me to see across the country how they got all our children out there marching in the schools and doing this thing in the church, and they want to make like he was a man that was appointed by the Lord Most High, like he had arrived in enlightenment and christened like Christ, christened by Christ like Jesus, and the whole 9 yards. When that man was getting tired of what was going on, and he was turned away from his, tongue-in-cheek, like, man, he was turned away from him. So they said, it's time to kill this man. So that man had to go. But at the same time, you said something to me the other day we was talking, and when you said about the living the dream. You see, they don't. Elijah was talking about living reality of this reality of this life, and then Martin was talking about living a dream. So what do? Forget about getting land. Forget about having your 40 acres and a mule. Forget about education. Forget about having your own empire. Your own educational empire. Forget about freedom. Forget about history. Let's have the dream. And as long as they could keep that dream, keep you running behind that dream, like Farrakhan said, the people need somebody to put their hope in. So I choose myself to be my people's hope. Jesse, let's keep hope alive. Let's keep hope alive, right?
Right.
Martin, I have a dream. Let's keep the dream alive. So we got hope and a dream. And they build that up as the pinnacle of what we're going to get. Hope and a dream.
And you bring the Lord
not actuality, but hope and a dream. This is not to put down Martin. This is not to put down Jesse or any of them. Putting down their misconception and they're being led astray.
Right.
You understand? They just embody the people that's being led astray. You understand? And they become the representatives of the devil, whether they recognize it or not. I don't care how much success the devil was giving you in his house. The Lord wants us out of his house. You understand? And they want us to rise to the top of the devil's house. No, the Lord wants us out of the devil's house. And you're not going to change the devil.
You know what I'm saying? You lie down with dogs, you're going to get some fleas. That's what you're saying.
You're going to get fleas.
Now, he's just bringing with you actuality and the reality.
Yes.
And now they're fighting the actuality that the Lord's relationship with them can be had, and that the reality that the Lord is here. Now that's the funny thing, that but the devils and the dualism know that the Lord is here, and that actuality, you being the messenger prophet, is the reality. That's the truth. And that's what they keep our people
away from
that.
Right.
That's the problem that I'm looking at.
And I've had some powerful people who've come and sat with me, and you know them, and even they've run away, except a couple.
Oh yeah.
And you know that because of the fact of the matter, a couple that's in power that's sitting in certain seats, they're not in a position to really do anything, or maybe they're afraid to try to do something. But they've acknowledged, man, I see what you're saying, I believe, I've studied what you've written, I did research, I listened to your words, and I have to bear witness that you're the messenger of the Lord Most High. You're the one. But at the same time, the masses of the people and those whom they could probably influence is not here, And I'm not going to put no stigma on them, but I just say this here. I'm not here so much to get a clan. You understand?
Right.
I'm here to get this message and to get the people, to see that the people get the message so they have the opportunity to accept the message. Because this life is only a spot. It's like a depot, man, on the road in the evolution of our minds.
Right.
And we are established in this flesh body, but this is only a temporary house. Right. You understand? Yeah. And see, the importance of the people understanding this is detriment to them where what amounts to where they will lose their soul connection, right. and they will go to hell for it.
Much of us have the comfortability, though. Ahezaah blesses us to understand that we don't own or possess this, but our people, by and large, are in the mindset that we're going to be here for a long time. I had one woman tell me one day, she trying to live to be 100. I said, well, if that's the Lord's will, you will. But if you don't, then what you going to do?
See, her try is nothing but a hope. And she's instead of her saying, I hope I live to be 100, where somebody like me is, I'll be glad when I get up out of here.
And
what I'm saying?
To them,
I sound insane.
That's what I'm about to say.
I sound insane because it's like, how is he saying he hope he get out of here? I want to live forever. Yeah, right. We know that this world has been proven to be a hell. But see, the fact of the matter is, I wouldn't say this just merely on a hope.
You're sure
I speak on out of certainty.
Right.
I speak out of my own experience, realizing being taken into the realms of the spiritual realms, and being, going on a spiritual ascension and knowing about the life hereafter. That's why I say I'll be glad when it's over. For me.
And this has been an I-Had moment, the calm before the storm. I hope you enjoyed what you heard. If you want to reach us by correspondence, you can reach us at A.H.A.D Incorporated, Post Office Box 8795, Newark, New Jersey 07103. That's A.H.A.D Incorporated, Post Office Box 8795, Newark, New Jersey 07103. My brother, it's always a pleasure, Lord Holy-Apostle Deen.
To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you